Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. 2 wins in a row. That is what I like to see. That is what I have been waiting for out of myself. We get Cain again. I think, we had Cain yesterday, didn't we? I think so. But, hey, you know what? I'll take it. We won with him yesterday. We can win again. And, hopefully we're at a point where I can not take my typical route and, go to the angel, take like the angel path, or rather take the devil path instead of the angel path, like I do every time, because I am nervous that my run is too weak to handle it, even though it's probably the same level of difficulty, but whatever, because I mean I do want to diversify it, like I don't want to constantly do the same thing every time, but I mean, to some extent, that is what this game is all about, doing the same thing every time, but with different items and stats and whatnot. You get the idea, though. Oh, Jesus Christ. I just ate some cereal, so undoubtedly, that's coming back to bite me a little bit. It was good, though. Let me tell you, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, very good, top tier cereal. If we're looking at, if we're gonna analyze all the other cereals that I can think of, I would put Cocoa and Fruity Pebbles up there as a top tier cereal. Any kind of Cheerios as a top tier cereal. Rice Krispies, top tier cereal. What else? Frosted Flakes are kind of like that mid-high tier. They're there, but they're also not quite there. God damn it, 5 cents for a bomb? What kind of fucking highway robbery is this? There are 2 tinted rocks in different rooms, I think, and I can't get to either one of them because I don't have any bombs. But I'm thinking Frosted Flakes, like in the tier below the high tier, but not exactly middle tier. What else? You got like Fruit Loops. Those are like mid tier. They're good, but they, when they rub against the roof of your mouth, it hurts. And the same thing is like for Captain Crunch. It's like, I also might die in here. I should probably pay a little bit more attention. But it's like you're eating Captain Crunch, right? Or Fruit Loops, and they're good. You're having a good time, and then it's like fucking hurts the roof of your mouth, and you're like, I try and eat it now, avoiding trying to make it so that the cereal never touches the roof of my mouth. But even when I do that, it's like damn near impossible. Also hurts your tongue too a little bit. So I would put Captain Crunch, I think, in the same tier as Frosted Flakes because I like Captain Crunch, but I'd put Fruit Loops in the mid tier. God damn it, this is so stressful. What else are we thinking? Cocoa Puffs can probably be put in the mid tier, to be honest. Same for like Reese's Puffs. All the Puff cereals are kind of like mid tier cereals, in my opinion. Holy shit. Okay. Like they're good, but like, I don't like the texture. And texture is important in a cereal, contrary to maybe popular belief, but In my eyes, texture is pretty important. I'm going to grab that so I can ensure that I stay alive here. And I can't believe, you know, like, I lost 1.5 hearts, like, at the very beginning of the fight, and then I somehow managed to pull through and not lose any health the rest of the way. Lucky me. I want the tinted rock, but I cannot have it. I mean, is there anything? Hang on a second. Hang on just a second. We're gonna head back all the way to the item room. But yeah, you know, like, I'm thinking about it, and I don't really know. I don't really know what, like. Well, I'm running out of cereals to think of for one thing, but also, you know, like, I don't know where those puff cereals would rank if the texture was better, you know? I mean, like, honestly, they would probably be high tier, but, you know, it's like, I don't know, because it's like, also at the same time, the texture kind of makes it taste better. So it's like, you know, I don't know. I really don't know. But, you know, I definitely have some personal favorites, which are why they are in the high tier, as opposed to not get. Excuse me. Felt a little. Hold on, okay. That butterbean, whatever it's called, that's supposed to knock back enemies, didn't do shit. Didn't do a goddamn thing. The hell was that? Also, I don't know what Sharp Straw does. Can I move you? I thought I could move these. Yeah. Alright, but god damn it, dude. You know, I got fucking cornered and I couldn't get out. It makes me so mad. You know, because the streak we just started got thrown away over something like that. Over something real dumb. That's probably distracted by the cereal talk. Why'd you guys bring that up? I can't focus, you know, if I'm talking about cereal. You know? Don't, future reference, don't bring it up. And I'm not saying that to me, I'm saying that to you. You, the viewer. Don't let me talk about stuff like that. Okay? It throws off my game. Throws off my mojo. Come here. Come here. I do want that. Okay, not ideal, but you know, it was worth a shot. Frankly, it's not a bad pickup in my eyes. Okay, we went in the item room. I am going to sip some water real quick here. I've had like something stuck in my throat for like a week now or something, and it's like this small thing in the left side of my throat, and I feel it not really when I talk, but when I swallow, and it's awful. You know, I hate it. And so I've tried to rinse it down with just about everything I can think of, and you know, like it hasn't gone away. You know, it's not as intrusive as it was before. You know, like I don't notice it as much, but still pretty annoying. You know, I gotta say. I don't know how to get rid of it. You know, like anytime I have any medical body related problem whatsoever, I immediately go to Google and type in, why is my body doing this particular thing? And then You know, there will be like a WebMD list of things you need to do in order to make it go away. Like fucking gargle vinegar or something. That wasn't one of the things, but you know, and so like I try all of these things and then it's still there, and WebMD is like, yeah, just go to a doctor, you know. I'm like, I'm not gonna go to a doctor over having something in my throat, you know. Like, I mean, on a very basic level, that sounds like maybe something you would go to the doctor for, but it's like, it's not like something poking at my throat or something that hurts. It's just something that's stuck, you know, and it's not even that bad. Ultimately, what I really need to do is just like man up a little bit, you know. Stop being such a little pussy and fucking deal with it, you know. But I'm just kidding, by the way. You know, I was about to say something about about my father, but I will not get started there, because look, I don't want to suggest. I know how that sounds. I don't want to suggest that he's a bad person at all. It's just like how, you know, I mean, at least my father, but how some fathers are, you know, where it's like, I'll just get over it, you know, that kind of thing. And like, I don't want to throw my dad under the bus, but at the same time, he was always like, you know, if I had any pain or something, or anything, you know, like anything bothering me physically, or even, you know, mentally for that matter. But we don't need to get into that rabbit hole. You know, he'd be like, I'll just get over it, you know. And especially, you know, when I would be sick or something, and I'd be like, I don't want to go to school. He'd be like, you're going to school unless, you know, unless you're fucking dying over there, you know. And fortunately, well, I mean, you know, not so fortunately, but holy shit. You know, my parents divorced when I was, I was in elementary school, technically. The reason I say technically is because my school district has an intermediate school for 4th and 5th graders, and that's where I was, or that's, you know, what school I was in, but I know that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense to literally anybody else. But anyway, you know, like you know, the thing with that though is that he moved out, so, you know, so he wouldn't be there in the mornings for school, and my mom would be there. My mom was much more lenient with it. I could be like, Mom, I'm sick, and you know, stay home from school. And I, especially in middle school, I abused that to no end, and I feel bad for it because, you know, undoubtedly, like my mom, you know, with having like 3 kids, you know, undoubtedly she's looking for some time to herself, you know, during the day, and you know, here I am like, I'm sick, and you know, I abused it. You know, if I had a cough, I'd be like, Mom, I can't go to school. You know, it's it's what happens when you're, you know, kind of spoiled growing up. You know, you're like, I can get well, yeah, you know, you think you can get away with certain things, and there were certain things I could get away with, including that some of the time, you know. There were occasions where my mom would be like, no, you got to go to school, you know, you can't keep doing this, and I'd be like, all right, fine. But you know, it was something that I definitely took advantage of as a kid, and I feel like, you know, if you do grow up in that kind of household where you are, you know, spoiled to some extent, you definitely, even like because, you know, you've been given so much already, you're like, I want more, you know, and then you do whatever you can to get more. Well, I mean, I didn't do whatever I could. I was a good kid growing up. I wasn't a troublemaker. I wouldn't say that I was a like a, what's the word? Like a brat, you know. I definitely wasn't. But, you know, it's just like inherently, you know, you are, you know, if you grow up in a, you know, like I grew up in an upper middle class household. If you grow up in that kind of environment, you know, even if you're not necessarily rich, it's like, you know, you're inherently spoiled to some degree, and, you know, that's going to reflect in the things that you do, even if you don't mean it to, you know. I'm sure that when I talk about certain things, it is reflected, you know, or it can be reflected in those conversations that I'm having, or, you know, what I'm talking about. Excuse me while I sip more water. But, you know, and that was one of those things where it's like, I wasn't doing it to be a brat. I was doing it just because I didn't want to go to school, you know. In middle school, high school, you know, I was shooting for perfect attendance, actually, in high school, and I lost it. What was it? My senior year? Was that senior year? I think it was senior year. And I lost perfect attendance for all 4 years in my senior year because I got into a car accident and I had to go to court. And the way my school looked at it was that if you missed half a day, that counted, you know, against like a perfect attendance record. And so I had to miss half a day to go to court, and, you know, and sort that out. And as a result, you know, like, there goes my perfect attendance. So I was like, fuck it, you know, I don't really feel like, you know, if I'm going to lose my perfect attendance, then I am going to skip out on school more than I have in a while, you know. So my mom, you know, got particularly lenient with me because I had like that perfect record in high school up until that point. So she was like, yeah, you know what, you can stay home, you know, if you want. And I definitely took advantage of it for a little bit, you know. So it's like I would not say that I was a brat, you know. Whether, I mean, of course, I have a biased look at it because I am the kid that I am referring to, but I don't think I was. I don't think. I definitely tried not to be one. You know, it was something that I was conscious of, especially as I got older. You know, I was like, oh, I don't want to act like a spoiled brat. You know, so I would try and be humble and whatnot, and try and you know, understand where I came from and, you know, why I have it better, and et cetera, et cetera. You know, but I think the whole point of what I'm saying here is that, like, you know, as much as you can try, there are certain things you're going to say or do, and that spoiled childhood is going to reflect in those things. You know, it's kind of inevitable, you know, whether you know, you can try your best, and you should, but it's not really, you know, I mean, like, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, as long as you're aware of it and you acknowledge it, and you do your damnedest to not be a dick about it, then it's not, in my eyes, it's not, you know, the end of the world. It's not even really a big deal. You know, just don't be a dick about it, you know. And I try not to be a dick about it. Not that I was ever a dick before, but, like, you know, I don't want to be a dick about it, you know. Reminds me of hang on, more water. God, you know, like, I've been recording for 20 minutes. My throat is killing me already. You know what? No. We might get a deal with the devil there, but I don't want to run that risk, frankly. But this whole conversation reminds me of this kid in high school. that I knew of. We didn't really ever talk all that much, but reminds me of this kid, and he was one of those kids where he, oh shit, he you know, he wouldn't necessarily you know, try and flaunt it. You know, he would normally keep to himself to some extent, but at least in my eyes, he was one of those kids that was like, you know, that acted like he was better than everybody else, and acted like he was smarter than everybody else. And don't get me wrong, he was pretty damn smart. You know, one of the smartest kids in our class, you know, in our grade. But you know, you could just tell in the way that he acted, in the way that he talked when he did talk, that he had that kind of you know, he carried that kind of attitude with him. And maybe, you know, that was me being envious of his intelligence or something like that. You know, I'm sure that had something to do with it. But, you know, like, it was especially, I think, he was in a computer science class that I was taking in high school, and or, you know, he was doing one of these things where, you know, he had already taken that class, but he was in that class doing like a not like an internship, but like he was doing a project with the teacher, and that acted as like a class for the semester, was him doing that project. But you know, he was in that classroom with us, and he would never really say it outwardly, but you would hear it in the conversations he would have with his friends. And you know, he would say stuff like, I don't know, you know, it could be anything. Like, it could be talking about literally anything. You know, what's a good example? Trying to think. I think I can't think of something he has actually, you know, been that way about, except for programming languages, which I know that, like, programmers are actually, you know, like that way, you know, like in the sense that they're picky about the programming languages, and rightfully so. So, like, I don't want to use a bad example like that, you know. But, you know, it was just, there was this way he carried himself, and the more that I think about it, it's definitely, you know, it definitely had something to do with me being envious with the way that I viewed him and the way that I remember him, because people generally didn't have a problem with him, I don't think, you know. You know, he would say stuff, he was in an English class of mine in my senior year, and he would say stuff in class, and people would laugh, and, you know, we would do these seminars or something, where, you know, I don't know, you read a chapter in a book, and now you got to talk about it, and we would be, and there would, the teacher would give us this list of opinions on a sheet, and we had to pick an opinion that we most agreed with, and one of the options was always, you know, my opinion is not listed on this list, and he would pick that option every single time, you know, and it became like a kind of like a running joke in the class, but, like, it pissed me off because it was like, you know, you think you're better than everybody else. My opinion is superior to everybody else's opinion. My opinion is unique and different because I'm so smart. You know, that was kind of the impression that I got of him. And I knew him before that class, but, like, it just made me, it just grinded my gears, you know. And the reason he would pick that, you know, that option, like, my opinion isn't listed, is because he would always say, well, you know, my opinion is like a culmination of all of these things to a certain degree. And I would be like, well, yeah, you know, like I share some of these opinions on here too, but like the prompt is pick an opinion you most agree with, you know, not pick not like you know, pick one singular opinion and that's your opinion, you know, and that's it, you know. But I guess that was kind of the approach he took, and you know, I don't know. I feel like maybe I was the only one who got annoyed by that, but he just, like, you know, I think back on him now, and I'm sure he's probably successful wherever he is, but you know, I just grinds my gears, man. You know, even thinking about it now, it's like, you know, I get this impression that he thinks he's better than me, than other people, and it pisses me off, you know. But I 100% think that it has something to do with me being envious of his intelligence and my lack thereof. I mean, I got good grades in school. You know, I got good grades in school. I scored well on the ACT and SAT. You know, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know what I was envious of exactly. You know, obviously the intelligence to some degree, but you know, I don't know, like, why it mattered to me so much, you know? It's like, you kind of just, like, got to get over those things. I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, you're the only one that feels that way about them, you know? You know, like, you're getting all upset, you know, but you like, everybody else doesn't seem to have a problem with him, you know? Kind of just, like, need to grow up a little bit, you know? I guess. I don't know. There were some I mean, there are some things still today that I get petty over, that, you know, looking at it from a different perspective when I'm not feeling petty, you know. You know, and it's just like, why do I get so petty, you know? Like, just cool it there, bud. You know, you don't need to get so bent out of shape over things. And I'm one of those people, whenever I get upset over something, I internalize it instead of ever showing it, you know, which is a good thing and a bad thing, I think. Good thing in that, you know, I never take it out on anybody, and I do my best to never take out anger or frustration or anything like that on other people. But it's also a bad thing in that I don't talk about it either. I kind of just, like, store it inside of me, you know, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not going to address it. I'm not going to try and look at this from a rational point of view. I am just going to internalize it and, you know, thus stay angry, you know. We need health, by the way. You know, we've been toying, kind of like, been in a little bit of a bad place here the past little while. I'm trying to this run is weird. Oh, thank God. Need this. You son of a bitch. Of course you had to be in here, you motherfucker. You know, you can't just let me buy some HP. No, you gotta come in here and ruin everything. Every fucking thing. Also, I'm getting all these red chests for some reason. Oh, that's that must be the trinket, I think, maybe. To be honest, I don't know. Well, I don't think it's a bad thing. Holy shit. Holy Alright, we're gonna need to pop this, I think. Yo, this sucks. You know, this run would not be in a bad place at all if I had more HP. I just need HP. Fuck. God damn it. What the hell? I'm baffled because, like, what happened? I don't even remember half of the stuff that went on in this run. I was too busy talking about how much I fucking hate this random kid that probably doesn't deserve it, you know? Anyway. So, you know, the streak was there. Now it's gone. Now we got a losing streak again. Hopefully we can get our shit together next episode. Anyway, with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this episode of The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, let me know down in the comments section below. Like the video and share with your friends. It lets me know you want to see more of any game series I do here on the channel. The link down to the game is in the description box below if you want to pick it up for yourself. Subscribe to my channel for more gaming content. I play all sorts of games on my channel. Thank you guys very much for watching. Love you very much, and I will talk to you later.